Welcome back. I guess it's time for a lab. So you probably saw this one coming since we did a tic-tac-toe game in the last unit, like the playground file. And then as your lab, we did a lights out, model object. Your lab this time is to create the lights out app, right? So let's just go ahead and start with a demo of it. You've seen it before when we were talking about this app before. But I mean, here's what it looks like on iPhone. So you can chase these things out. So it's going to make use of your model object that you made before. So really the big thing you're doing here is you're making the connections to the actual app. So you're making all the stuff for the view and then the code for the controller. And you also have to take care of the messages. So like right now it says you've taken 8 moves. And then I click on this and it says you've won in 9 moves. And then, your model object should take care of clicking doesn't really do anything. But there's all these details you've got to get. And then if you click on new game, it'll start off with a new game and you'll have to knock all these lights out again. So there, I won pretty quick, which is nice. So this is what it looks like on iPhone. So you can see that there's a toolbar with new game at the bottom. If I relaunch it in iPad though, so here I'm showing it on an iPad, you can see that the game in portrait plays pretty similar to what we did before. You can see that this one's using a nav bar in the same way that tic-tac-toe did. And it's putting the title up there. It's also putting new game up there as well. And if you rotate, I want you to support landscape iPad as well. To be honest, this one I had to be a little tighter about it. My title is not quite as big as it was in tic-tac-toe, but that's okay. I think I used like a 20 font size and a 54, I forget all the details, to make it actually fit on this. And so you can see that it's playable in iPad, landscape, or portrait. As far as the details of this thing go, you can go look up in the document all the different things. There's a little thing here and there that's different. One is, I used a light gray background. On iPhone, this R is actually the same size, whereas in tic-tac-toe it kind of got a little bigger as you got into bigger sizes. It's the same size R, it's just still centered. And I had to do that just with how I laid out the buttons. And then, of course, in landscape and portrait on the iPad, it should fit pretty well. Other little differences is I actually only have 2 images, one for light off, one for light on. And it's just the size of the button is different. Either they're 50-50 or 100 by 100. And all these details get talked about in the lab. And so you can go through and work these things. So it's going to take some time to go through and work this. But it should really reinforce the skills that you've got in terms of making a universal app, putting some things on one storyboard so that it exists in all places, and then putting other things in only certain storyboards so it only exists in that place. And so I would like for you to go through and do a lot of those things that are similar to what we did with tic-tac-toe. And again, similar to tic-tac-toe, there is no iPhone landscape. So make sure you go in and you turn off iPhone landscape. All right, I think that's all we've got. Once you finish the lab, you should now have a lot of practice with making universal apps. You've done like a little practice app. You've gone through a giant fall along with tic-tac-toe, and then you've done this lab on your own. All right, that's all I've got for universal apps that use Model View Controller. Go knock out that lab. See you next time.